Hi, my name is Keith Cooper from Northlight Images, and this is just a short video about a new lens I've got to test. Well, actually this is a bit more than a new lens I've got to test, because this is a new lens that I've just bought. And this is a Canon TS-E50mm. It's a tilt shift lens, 50mm f2.8. It says macro on the name, but it only goes to 2:1. But it's a lens I know well because I tested it and I've got a very detailed review. I've also covered it in the book about tilt shift lenses. In fact, I had it here when I was writing the book. There's a picture of it there on my 5DS. Now, great, you think. It's an exceedingly nice lens. But hang on, I use a GFX100S. I've got a GFX100S Mark II here to test as well, which I will have a look at it on it. But for this sort of use, there honestly isn't much difference between the two. Here it is, TS-E50, brand new one, just pulled out the box here. Comes with a lens hood and a bag, and very little in the way of instructions. But you expect that these days. Now, why have I got an EF mount lens for use with, this? I've got here, by the way, this is a Fujifilm 30mm tilt shift, quite possibly the best tilt shift lens I've tested to date, wide angle, I should say, tilt shift lens. Excellent one here. This is a loan from Fuji, because these are very difficult to get hold of at the moment, and they've lent me one until I can actually get one and buy one, because I will do, they're that good for the sort of work I use. Now remember, I'm an architectural industrial photographer. The architectural side is a key area where the tilt shift comes in. But what about this 50mm? 50mm, great. I can use it for my AVR work. Now, what's AVR work? It is where you take photographs from a known point, camera set up on a tripod at a particular point which is surveyed. You know where it is, you know the height of the camera above ground. The images are used for creating renderings and for planning purposes and stuff. It's quite a specialised bit of work, and I do that. And one of the key things is you need to use a lens of known focal length and various things. Now, I can use this as a 50mm on the GFX here, or even the 5DS if I wanted to. It works as a 50mm with this in crop mode, and 5DS, obviously it's a 35mm sensor anyway, so that's fine. That's one thing. That's part of the work use for it. I have been using another 50mm lens, Canon 50mm lens, for this sort of work, and I was after something a bit better quality, and ideally something that would go on the GFX. What's the difference? Well, as a medium format camera, albeit small medium format, 33 by 44 sensor, 100 megapixels on that, this lens easily has the coverage with an adapter to cover the whole frame of this. Now, I'll be doing some specific testing, and I'll do a video about using this. But one of the things that attracted me is that I remember when I did the review of the 50, I was mightily impressed quality-wise. Even as a close-up lens, it works well. There's some examples here of how much tilt you will get at different close-up distance. Tilt drops off rapidly as the amount of tilt of the focal plane as you get closer and closer. So this 1:2 macro, not full macro, so you need extension tubes. But this used on the GFX100S gives me an equivalent, 35mm equivalent focal length of around about 40mm. Now, from testing the TS-E45 a while ago, and from other focal lengths, the adapted lenses, this is a nice focal length, and I'm going to look at using this for giving me a slightly different, well, literally different perspective on some shots, to using one of the wider lenses I've got. Now, this, as I say, equivalent focal length gives about, for field of view, gives about 40mm. Remember that as a tilt shift, and tilt is not something I use a lot, certainly in architectural work, I'm shifting the lens in different directions. When you do that, you're getting the equivalent of an even wider lens. Certainly if you do multiple shots and stitch, you're doing that. So I have a TS-E24 that I've had this since 2008. Excellent lens, works well on the GFX. In fact, I've even got a TS-E frame here. That's not the right one. TS-E frame. So I can mount this onto the tripod direct and move the camera. That is very similar to what I can do with the extension foot, not fitted on this one at the moment, for use with this, the Fuji 30mm tilt shift. So this gives me an equivalent of about 24mm. This, which does work well, but it's a little wide for some of the uses I want, this gives the equivalent of about 17mm. And you have to be a bit careful in processing the images, in the amount of shift you need to stop down, because this one's showing its age at 24mm. This is one of the newer Canon lenses, tilt shift lenses. These were bought out 2017, 2018, something like that. Can't remember the details when I tested these, but these are much newer. These show considerable improvements on design over these. I've also got a TS-E50mm, but that is really wide when you put it on the GFX, and you have to be careful. It's when you need it, when you need width, it's great. So that is a TS-E frame for this. That allows me to do close up. I can move just the camera and keep the lens fixed. Helps eliminate parallax if you're doing multiple stitch shots. That is a TS-E frame for that one, and this one comes with a foot on it. Longer lengths, I've got a few adapted lenses. This one here, this is the original TS-E90. That works very well. I did mention that, you know, some setup options for this lens. So I have used it before, but one of the things I always remember to do, and there, as I say, there's very little documentation in this. When you get it, there's a little plastic bag here with a plastic cap and a screw. What they do, you unscrew the screw in the middle of the shift setting knob, you clip on the plastic clip over the top of it, and then tighten the screw up in the middle of it. Now, tighten that screw up carefully, because I know at least I fitted it on one of my other lenses, TS-E17, I think I did it, and that screw is long gone. It clips in place, so it doesn't matter too much, but it would be nice just to keep it. So first thing to do, just change that, keep the old screw just in case. As I say, there is a lens cap with it, and get a bag with it there. So there we have effectively a new tilt shift lens. I've got now two similar tilt shift lenses which cover the majority of focal lengths I want for my work. This one gives me the equivalent of about 40mm, or 50 if I shoot in crop mode if I'm doing the AVR work, and this one the equivalent of 24. And if I really need it, I've got that. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to see Fuji this year, next year, announce the next members of the set of wide lenses that they're going to do, and various for tilt shift lenses. I suspect that Fuji will bring out a wider lens than this. They'll bring out perhaps something at 24, so the equivalent of this one here, the TS-E24. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them bring out something in the middle between 30 and 110, which is the other one of that. But there you have it. A fair few bobs worth of kit sitting on my desk at the moment. I need to go out and take some photos and just have a play. And I always, yeah, any new lens I get like this, I will do it. It's one of the reasons I do the reviews partly, is just to get experience in using something. But I really do need to find out the limitations, what they might be. There is likely to be a little bit of shift vignetting with this on the GFX, but that will only be visible probably at f2.8 or f4 if I'm using it at full shift. I don't know, I need to check. I have checked it, I've got lots of details. If you want to know about the lens, have a look at the review I wrote a while ago. I'll put some links in the notes. But anyway, if anyone has any questions on this lot here, do let me know. I say, unusually for this, this one doesn't have to go back. I've been wanting one of these for a while, and circumstances now allow it. So there we go. Hope that was of some interest. Thanks for watching, and bye.